To
Right. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm at the.
Alex if she ever come home.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you already started recording?
Yeah, it's on. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I don't even know.
You gonna introduce me to your fans?
That's something that I've been like trying to figure out. Is if I'm a do that or not. You know what I mean?
I think you should.
But should I introduce you like how I know you, or should I introduce you as like professionals?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah, maybe not. Well, but I feel like it would explain like, cause obviously we know each other.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, how about we do two,
With
and then you decide later.
okay.
Well, no, that's a lot. I mean, I guess they don't have to. I could be your friend.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily know who
Right.
I am. So yeah, maybe just say,
Okay. Bet.
yeah, who I am, not
All
necessarily.
right.
Yeah.
So this is Diamond Greene. Diamond Greene is a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Yes.
And how long you been working in your field so far?
Let's see. I graduated in 2018, and I started working like the end of 2018. So what's that, like 3 years? Going on 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah. Dang. I feel like it's been longer than that. Yeah, going on 3 years. Yeah.
And when you had started off, you was doing like what's the difference, I guess, like now from what you're doing now versus like what you had started off doing?
So my first job, okay, so I've had a part-time job this whole time. So I guess I'll start with that. My part-time job, I work at a private practice. So that I've been doing since I was licensed.
I might have to turn yours down.
Turn it down.
Just click it one. You did it.
So
Yeah.
my first job out of school, it's considered agency work. So but I did fee for service, which means that I got paid per session. But I did an outpatient mental health clinic that provided in-home services. So I went to people's houses and gave them therapy. But now it's kind of a similar type of deal, but I'm just salary based, so I don't make money per session anymore. I make, get paid per hour.
Regular, yeah.
And then I work in a hospital setting. But it's still outpatient.
How was that working, going to your patients' homes? How'd you?
Well, so for those of you who don't know,
Right, that's
live
nice.
in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And it's also, a lot of those people were on Medicaid, so also like low income families. So I had to go like into the hood to people's houses.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, a lot of them, I guess being honest, a lot of them weren't that clean, or like even just with the infrastructure of the house, like mice, like roaches and stuff like that. So even when I started the job, they were like, don't like bring no bag in, don't put your stuff down, like take your clothes off when you get home. Yeah, like stuff like that, because you don't know what you might pick up. What was your question? How was it?
Yeah. So I mean, like the other thing was like, how did that make you feel mentally? Like, did that change any of your perceptions? Like, or like, did it make you feel more fortunate, or like, you know what I mean? Did it have any impact on you? Like, did it make you sad being around it, or?
I honestly, as far as the emotions part, it was more frustrating, I think, than sad. Like, but it's
frustrating.
All right, so let me back up. So with that job, a lot of times I had like a parent. I would see their parent for therapy, and I would see their child for therapy. So that was kind of weird, because I would see like their parents' issues and how that affect the child. And it's like a lot of times when parents have mental health issues, it's hard for them to even parent their kids, because they're trying to deal with their own mental health stuff. They're not there all the way, or they don't have the energy, they don't have the motivation to do the things. So then the kids end up suffering, but then their kids have a lot of behavioral problems. But it's like, you can't really blame the kid, because the kid, needs more support, but then the parents also need more support.
Right,
so I a lot of times felt like I wasn't really doing anything, because it was like, therapy is not really what they need. Like, if you don't have enough to eat, every day,
Yeah,
or
right,
you don't
like,
have
what's
a good
talking
place to
about it.
sleep. Yeah, like therapy is not really your first need.
That's crazy, because I be thinking about it, like, when it comes to working on yourself, like bettering yourself, first you have to have like the basic needs
Yeah,
in order to
have
be
you
able
seen
to.
the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Nah, what's that?
So it's like basically it's literally a triangle, but at the base we have like our physical needs. Then it's like safety and stuff like that, and then at the top it's self-actualization. That's where the self-work comes in. So you can't do that. It's literally, you should look it up after we finish, but it's literally that you can't do any of those things if your basic needs aren't met. So it's like I felt like, what am I really doing?
Yeah.
Because you just kind of feel ineffective.
That's crazy. Because even for me, like now that I'm out here like in Delaware, and I'm like, I feel like I'm, I have more like consistency, and like I'm eating the way that I want to eat, and I'm just, now I feel like I can focus more in on like personal stuff, or like more like personal development. Like it's less stressful to do certain stuff now. So yeah, that's
having
crazy.
your own routine and your own structure. Yeah, we need that as people. And when your mental health is not all the way there, it's hard to create that structure. So it's a lot, and it's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, structure is important.
Yeah, I don't know like how you, well, like what your perception is of it, but like now, as far as mental health, everybody, like mental health is like a huge, it's such a like big thing now. You know what I mean? How do you feel? Do you feel like that's good that we like so mental health focused, and like what do you think about it? Like
yeah, I think it's definitely good because still, even I think it's hard for people to like talk about it, or talk about their experiences. So it is really important. And so many people are struggling. Like I think like no, the statistic is not that high. But I remember in college, they had this like ad on the bus where it was like 1 in 4 Terps suffers from depression. So it's like it's so common. So it's like people should talk about it, and it helps to like feel like, oh, like somebody else is experiencing this, or oh, I'm not alone. So I think it is good that people are having more conversations about it, and it's becoming more not more acceptable, but more like normalized. Like, okay, this is okay.
So, not to get too like political, but Simone Biles, right?
Oh yeah,
with the
I did see
Olympics. Her like called, like, she like backed out, I guess, of the competition because she wanted to take like mental health break, or like she wanted to. I'm trying to process that, and I don't want to like say that that's like too crazy, but when it comes to working through certain stuff, like when you like stressed out, or like when you like, I'm trying to figure out what are the long-term effects of people not doing something because they don't feel well at the time. But I feel like her mental situation, it was like a little bit more extreme. But I'm thinking like, when you're at work, you're working, you work a 9 to 5, and you one day, you don't feel good. So it's like, I don't feel good mentally, so I don't want to go to work. Sometimes, in order to do what's necessary, or do what's like required, sometimes you have to like look past that and just do it just because, you know what I mean? Do you feel like because of this, do you think that, now a lot of sports players, or a lot of people will be less mentally, I don't even want to use that word, like, do you feel like that'll have any impact, I guess, going forward, as far as, athletes and stuff like that, making those types of decisions?
So I will say I kind of like saw a snippet of it, and I more so saw like how people were reacting to it, and somebody said like, not black girl magic, black girl tragic, or I might have just made that up. That might not have been what he said, but basically he was saying like, oh, why would she do that? And I feel like when it comes to mental health, like you said, sometimes you do just have a bad day, whatever, not that serious. But when it comes to mental health, a lot of times it is more than that. It does go deeper than that. So you could be having like thoughts of like hurting yourself, or you might really not even have the energy to get out of bed, or then it is affecting your performance. So I think that it should be more of like more encouraged for them, because they do have so much pressure on them. Like,
and she does too, like,
yeah.
especially, you know, being like everybody's expecting her to do something amazing because
Right.
she's been breaking all of these records and stuff like
Right,
that. So
right.
like all of that just weight
that's
on
a
her, like,
lot.
and they expecting
Yeah.
her to, like, you know, put on for the USA. And
Yeah.
I feel like they also, you know, pretty much she's been like the like the symbol for the Olympics almost. So it's like having to perform and like meet
Yeah.
those like that, you know, those expectations. That is a lot of pressure
Yeah.
for sure.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
But
So,
was you about to say something else to that? I don't know if I had cut
just
you off.
just saying that should be more encouraged
Yeah.
for athletes, or just people that are in the media, period. Because
Yeah.
I feel like that is, even like celebrities and stuff like that, like they're not really allowed to be like people or allowed to be like humans.
Yeah.
So
Now, that's funny. I don't know. I guess I haven't been, you know, working in like corporate America for that like long enough, but people taking, you know, you might take a day off or taking sick leave. I've always thought of sick leave as like, you know, having a cold or like you having flu symptoms and you need to go to the hospital, but it's also how you mentally feeling. So like taking sick leave for that, and I feel like people probably are gonna be more, you know, focused in on that now. You know what I mean? As far as like, you know, you need to take a mental break, not just like, you know, how you physically feeling a lot of times.
because that's part of our health too. And I think we should, like how you go to the doctor for a physical every year, you should be checking on your mental health as well, because that's an important part. I was going to say something too, because as therapists, we are helping other people, right? And we like are some of the like hardest working people. Like a lot of people have like 2 jobs or stuff like that. So it's like, you know, we gotta kind of practice what you preach, basically. Like that's also a problem for us as well, I think.
I was gonna ask you about, I think it was working. Counseling couples. Is that you? Is it fun? How you've been?
So I think working with couples is my favorite. So okay, it's also a little bit different because, like I said, I do work 2 jobs. So my full-time job, where we accept Medicaid, is more so low-income families. That's more so kids. I'm actually the child and adolescent therapist, so I work more so with kids and their families. Now my part-time job, that's more so couples, but it's also a private practice. So these are people that can afford to pay out of pocket. So it's also just a completely different demographic that I see there. And there we can actually really focus on the issues, and they're paying a lot of money out of pocket, so they coming in like, all right, we need to see results. So they also are working a little bit harder towards their goals. So I think that also kind of creates a little bit of the change, or how I see it a little bit differently.
For them, they're also deciding to. Some of the patients, I guess, that you have at the other, you know, some of it is like somebody's telling them they have to do it rather
parents,
than them making a decision.
For the school, Sometimes I do have like teenagers. I really like working with teenagers who actually want to do therapy. Like I really enjoy working with them. But yeah, most of the time, a lot of times they don't want to do it. Also, as kids, they like, I don't see nothing wrong with me. I don't see why I got to do this. So, yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. So working with couples though, it's hard. It's really hard.
For real.
Because you're trying to balance 2 people, 2 personalities. Both people think they're right. So it's trying to like validate both people, trying to say, because both people have valid experiences. They have valid opinions. So it's trying to validate both of them, but then also figure out, okay, well, how do you get the other one to see the other one's side, and then not have them not feel like I'm taking one person's side, and then also still try to fix whatever the problem is.
And then that's a good question. Like, how do you determine what is the right path? Like, you can't necessarily tell them what's the right path to take.
I don't give nobody advice.
It's more so just like them finding that ground, like where they can. Is that how it is?
Yeah. Now, I will say I do teach skills. So, like with couples, I might teach like communication, or I might recommend learning their love languages, or like stuff like that. Like kind of teaching them things, but I won't say, oh yeah, y'all should do this, or you're right, or he's wrong, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't
That's
give advice.
Crazy. And and that's what's hard though too. Like when it comes to just relationships, like you gotta, because there's no right way to do a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people, they have like, open marriages and just, like they do whatever they
and that's another
do.
thing. That's also a downside too. I feel like to therapy, because a lot of our models that we use are based off of white people.
Like okay, right.
White
okay.
people and traditional. So white people as far as individual therapy, but then traditional couples for couple therapy. So like polyamorous couple, like our stuff doesn't necessarily apply to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you can adjust, like using your own, knowledge and your own, skill set to kind of navigate or be flexible. But we're not taught how to do that. So that's like a downside.
Yeah.
A limitation, yeah.
And you was talking about white being like therapy being based around like their like the culture of like white people. How have you been able? And that's another thing, like as far as diversity and inclusion, because being black and then being able to like notice like, oh, this isn't necessarily like our culture, so it's like how do I sort of bend what I've been taught in order to like make it fit within our, like black culture.
Yeah.
Have you been like, do you feel like you've been able to sort of find that ground and that like area of flexibility?
I think that's more so where like just empathy kind of comes in, and kind of, I think empathy.
My bad. I remember you was talking about like when, I guess for somebody, we were talking about emotions and how some people express emotions and they won't be as aggressive, I guess, but like black people, they might yell a little bit more, a little bit more expressive. So I remember we was talking about that. So like knowing that, and like it's crazy because if you're a black couple and you have a white therapist, they might not be able to perceive like, oh, wait a minute, like you're so mad, like why are you so angry right now? But then this is just how they expressing themselves. That's damn.
And I mean, they try to teach us. I don't remember learning that specifically in school, but they do like try to teach you about like different cultures and how different people express themselves, or how different people even experience different symptoms. Like the book that we use is called the DSM, but it has like all the mental health disorders in it. But it talks about like, oh, different cultures might experience this in this way, or they might experience it in this way. So they do like try to teach it to you, but at the end of the day, when you're in the room with them, sometimes that stuff kind of goes out of the window, and you are going off of your own feelings and your own experience. Like, oh, this person is really upset right now, and it's like, no, they're just trying to express themselves or trying to say whatever's going on.
That's just how they do it. Yeah, I've been like, when it comes to different cultures, like being able to even know, like, okay, this person isn't necessarily being rude, they're just, this is just the way that they express themselves, and you know what I mean? So it's like, it's definitely a lot, and like, you gotta, I don't know, I feel like being, like, exposure is a big thing. I'm jumping a lot, but, yesterday I was talking to this guy. I think he must have like just got out of, I think he just came home, or like it was recent, like that he had came home. But we were talking about the box, and as far as if you live in a box, you only know that what's in that box. You don't necessarily know, you know what I mean? You don't know how to think outside of like what
that's all you know.
That's all you know. So exposure to different cultures, I'm trying to like tie it back together, but exposures to different cultures, it helps you to be able to sort of tell those differences, and like be able to sort of understand, like, wait a minute, like, instead of just automatically just being defensive, I guess, because somebody is coming off a certain way. If you have different exposure to different people, it can benefit.
And I don't know if that's like a Baltimore thing, but people are like very defensive. Like, people automatically like take things personally, or think that it's like an attack against them. And so I do try to like just take a step back and think like, okay, this person doesn't know me, or this person has no reason to treat me this way. Like, always basically trying to see the good in people and think like, okay, well, why why would they respond in this way, or
Mm-hmm.
why are they interacting with me in that way. But I'm also just like interested in people. Like I just am interested in like how people do things, why people do things. So I think that kind of plays a role in it too. Or just like wanting to get to know people or learning about different people, because we're all so different. So that's interesting too.
Yeah. I was talking to my mentor, and we were talking about passions. So he was telling me that you can have your job can be your passion, and so you're just like driven completely to just do whatever that job is, and like you're interested in. You do it as a hobby sometimes. Like you might get off work and like your interest, like your job is your outside interest. So like, you might go home and I don't know, read a counseling book or something like that because like you're just so interested in it. But then he was talking about there's people that get careers pretty much, and they'll have like a solid job, but they'll use that job in order to pay for their outside passions. How you feel about therapy? Do you feel like that's like, I know we talk about it like a few times just as far as like passions and stuff like that. Do you feel passionate about it? And I know that you like, you helping people, and that's definitely like a good cause, and like I'm sure that gives you, some sort of satisfaction doing that. How you feel?
I think that it depends on the day. So the thing about therapy is that it can be very draining, like emotionally, mentally, like it can be very taxing.
And then just talking to people too.
Yeah, that takes a lot of energy. And like I'm a people person, but I'm not necessarily like I don't think that I'm an extrovert. Like I really do value my time alone. So I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're talking.
Passion. So so there are times where I do feel more energized, and I might say like, because when you're in like a professional organization, they send you like magazines and stuff with like the most updated information and stuff like that, articles and stuff like that. So I'll like read those types of things sometimes, or like if I see something like on because like you said, mental health is a popular thing now. So if I see something on social media, I might look at it or stuff like that. But a lot of times, honestly, I'm tired and I just want to like relax after I'm done working. So is this my passion? Nah, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoy it, but
that's crazy. Did that go? Okay, I was hitting the wrong one. I think. Oh, he ain't get in. Okay, my bad. Go ahead, though.
So honestly, what I would love to do for like my job, I guess, or my income would be to just travel. But how do you do that? I don't know.
So I think and that's like I would love to do that too. And one way, people that do like the vlogging, you know what I mean?
I wanted to actually get into that.
So that's one of those ways where and then I feel like people get paid by like resorts and stuff like that too, because
so like travel agents too, they do that type of stuff.
So it's either like if you do it like you're a vlogger. Damn. And then you could also be a like what you just said, a travel agent. What's it called? When we were in Turks and Caicos, we had met this guy named Curtis, and I don't know if he owns a company like a travel agency, or if he's just working for one, but like he travels like everywhere. And the thing is, when he was in Turks, he was staying at like multiple different hotels. Like while he was there, like we got to like go with him to we went to Grace Bay, right? We was in Grace Bay, but it was like one of those like I guess main resorts, but it was just super nice, like right on like beachfront, like your room, you can just like walk straight out to the beach. Was Jaws right on? Because it looked like
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't far, but it wasn't right on the beach. It was near Mr. Grouper. Like, did you go there? It was like around the corner.
I was about to ask, did y'all
like walking.
Did y'all do the fish fry, or was it when y'all was there? I think they do like some type of fish fry or something.
We
like
went
that.
to one, but I don't think it was like an
Yeah.
official. I mean, we got fried fish. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like an official fish fry.
But yeah, so he travels everywhere, and like he
Mm-hmm.
got pictures like all just in crazy different places. What is that though? Like why is that desirable to us? Like, I don't know.
Traveling.
Like, there's so
or-
many people that like just dive into like these like technical like just jobs, and they just like so interested in that. But like, I don't know, for me it's like the excitement comes from traveling and like, you know, like the fun stuff.
I think it's all about what you value.
Yeah.
And what's important to you, and I mean, I guess too, what your interests are, what excites you. So yeah, for me, like being able to travel, or freedom is really big for me too. Being able to like do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Bro, financial freedom.
Yeah. So that's the thing why I would be like scared to like take a leap of faith like that, because I mean, I guess I could start it while funding it from my full-time job, but like to like really say, okay, I'm gonna do this, I feel like I would need some money to kind of start it, and like that's kind of taking a leap of faith. And so I do like the stability also of having a job. So there's also that.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's one thing that I do like to talk to people about, because I've noticed for me, I'm like, I want to be able to just do like math, you know what I mean, for fun, just sit at the desk and just write out some like math problems or something like that. But like, that's just not, I don't even have the like I don't know, like the emotional capacity to like do it, because I will always have an urge to just get up and like, you know, go do something and like, you know, move, you know what I mean, rather than doing that. I don't know. I guess the main thing is, because you want, like, you know for sure like that you want to do something where like you could be traveling or something like that. So what are some things that you do, I guess, in order to just keep yourself grounded, I guess, and keep yourself focused in on what's the task at hand, I guess, or like what's currently in front of you?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Like basically, how do I stay motivated?
Yeah. Money.
I guess because I help people, or you know, I'm in a supportive type of job. I think that's kind of what pushes me, because I do have like a important job, right? So when I'm talking to people, that I do have like a lot.
Right. You got a lot to say, or like you have power. In people's you know, personal lives.
Yeah.
You could call somebody to merge the film.
Yeah. Like, so that's like a lot of pressure too. But so yeah, and actually a lot of therapists, we also have supervision, where we talk about our cases, but we also talk about like our own experience with therapy. And that's something that they kind of talked to us about, of like, this is not, you're not responsible for these people. Like, people are still going to decide to do what they want to do. You need to do what you can do to help, but at the end of the day, you're not responsible for what people, you know, decide to do. So, but it's hard. It's hard. Like, a couple that you're working with, I just had that happen to me. A couple that I was working with, they were like really doing well, and then they'll decide to just like, no, we don't want to do this no more. And I'll be like, bro, like, what?
What did I do?
And it's hard, and I'll be like, what did I do wrong? But I mean, I think, and also too, being a young therapist, for me, a lot of it is like, okay, am I doing this right? Like, am I, because it's not an exact science. So some people get benefit from it and some people don't. And so for us too, it's like, dang, like, am I doing a good job? Like, am I doing all that I can do? Like, it's always like that up and down, because it's not like, okay, 1 + 1 is 2. It's like,
for real though.
It's a lot of gray area.
And I always think about this when I'm just talking to people, period, but like, I try to watch what I say to some people, because like, I don't want my thoughts to spark a thought in them. So for instance, if you're thinking like, I want to find like a good example, but like I might be like, I don't believe in Christianity because this and this, but like this person is like really faithful in Christianity, so it's like I don't want to say that to them because I might spark a thought and they might be like, I don't, you know what, like maybe I'm not so Christian, and then they like completely lose their faith. So like, is there anything that do you have to like watch what you say, I guess, in certain instances, and like you know, like having a 'cause
I'm very cautious about like what I share about myself, like because I mean rarely people ask, but there are some therapists that are a lot more vocal about their own experiences and about themselves, and I was always like because for one, I feel like I live a double life. Like my life at work is completely different than my life outside of work, so I don't be wanting people to know nothing about me. For one. For two, I had personally I had a therapist where she shared a lot of her own experiences, and I didn't like that. Like because for me, like for instance, she said, "Oh, like I go to church," so now I'm thinking, "Oh, like she's a religious person. Can I tell her this type of stuff? Is she judging me about this type of stuff?" So you do have to be very careful about what you share about yourself. And a lot of times I don't give my own like opinions on if I'm suggesting meditation, I'm saying, "Oh, you know, I've practiced meditation myself. Like I feel like it's very helpful. You know, maybe you should give it a try." Like those types of things, I might give my own experience, but not like others. You know, like not like personal stuff. I won't share that type of stuff.
That's crazy. I never even thought about that. And that's probably beneficial to almost be like a blank slate when you coming into your therapy sessions. Like it's nothing about you, you know what I mean? Like you should just go in.
Exactly. And that's the thing, it's the like, this don't have nothing to do with me. This is all, you know, your time, your space. So
Dang, I never even thought about that. That's tough. So I did I had one question. So if somebody, right, if you just having, like you got a client, maybe you have so a client, and you know they're coming to you, but they're coming by themselves and they talking about their relationship or something like that, and they tell you like, I'm thinking about like murdering my husband.
So there's a rule. I have a duty to warn. I have to try to figure out who her husband is, so I can let him know, like, yo, she's trying to kill you. So like I can't let that stuff slide, because if she really kill him and I know, like, I'm at fault. Like you knew she was going to kill him.
Can you go to jail for that?
You know, I would have to read back up on that. I don't know if I could go to jail, but I could definitely lose my license.
Because isn't it something like where like if you were your friend and your friend is talking about committing a crime because you're an accomplice, right, or something like that, like because you knew that they were going to do that?
Does it work like that?
I don't know.
Probably. But so like I gotta like warn or like call the police or do whatever I can do to try to let this person know, like, yo, she's trying.
What if they just like joke though? Like they be like, I put rat poison in his meal, you know what I mean?
One of my coworkers brought that up because they were saying like this person always like makes comments like, oh, I want to kill such and such. Because you know, even when like I said, our population is like a lot of low income, like Baltimore people, so they might say like, yo, I wanted to kill them, but like you didn't necessarily mean it. But somebody was like, so how do I know if they're like joking or they're serious? But they were like, just check in, like, okay, are you just joking, or you know, kind of saying it like in a way where it's not like, are you really trying to kill this person? You know. So, but that's a real thing. So if somebody, or even child abuse, I'm a mandated reporter for that. So if a child comes in with like a mark or something like that, or if they tell me that something happened, I have to like call CPS. So
I was at the wine in the yard yesterday, and this guy was just like, I don't even know like why he felt comfortable to say it, but he was like, yeah, like my wife or his fiance or something like that, he was like, yeah, when she get back from the Philippines, I'm gonna whip her ass or something like that. And I'm just like, yo, like, okay, like, is this just something that's a norm, you know what I mean? And now this is like bringing me back to anthropology. I had took an anthropology class at City, but we were reading a book, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about, they had a culture of like rape, where like they didn't think that rape was a bad thing because it was like that was within their like their culture. And so I don't know if that's necessarily like his case, you know what I mean? Like he might have just
like
that's just something normal to him. So it's like it's not even that like big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Well, you know they say we have a rape culture too.
For real. Rick Ross put Molly on her champagne. But really though? Black people?
No, like America.
Yeah. Cause I mean, well, I feel like now it's not as bad because it's been getting out there. But like, like I feel like I've seen it multiple times where somebody like on TV or something like that, where they'd be like, I took her home. She was super drunk. Like, and they were like, man, what you do, bro? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what? Like, why y'all just talking about this?
And that's the thing. Like, people, you know, when you think of rape, you think it's, some stranger come while you walking home and, you know. But no, it's normally it's somebody that you know. Like, it's rare that it's a stranger. So
that's wild.
Yeah.
But, so you had said that you live two separate lives.
Yeah.
So, this like a deep topic, right? Because I want to talk more, like I want to talk about the things that you do, you know, outside of work, but I also want to talk to you about why that's the case and like what causes that. And then is that something is that a black experience specifically, or is that is that an experience like multiple people have? Like, for instance, like I feel like when you like you come into work and you bring your professional self to work, but then when you go home, you might not necessarily carry yourself the same way that you carry yourself. So I don't know. I don't even know where to go from that.
No. So I think part of it is being black. I think part of it is just the type of person that I am and my personality. So and don't let me forget those two things that I just said, because I'm gonna start talking about one and I might forget to talk about the other. Okay, being black. That was a really big struggle for me when I started working at the private practice. Actually, that was a big reason why I didn't even want to work at a private practice from the beginning. This person, actually, my boss, actually recruited me to, come and do an interview and stuff like that. So a lot of the people, like I said, have a lot of money. They're having high expectations. So me being young, me being black, like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, like thinking about already how they're looking at me, how they're perceiving me. We already feel like we gotta work 2 times harder. So now I'm feeling like I gotta work extra harder because I'm providing a service that's so like intimate, because people also have to feel like they can connect to you. So that was like a lot of pressure of like, how am I gonna relate to these people? Because I have like some, white friends, but just growing up, I never really was around white people. So that was always just like, how am I going to relate to these people that I've never really connected with? And I hate to say it like that because we're all people, but I mean, it's different cultures, it's different experiences. And then, thinking of me, also just thinking about how they were perceiving me. So, and that's something that I'm still dealing with. As I'm becoming more confident as a therapist.
Black girl.
Yeah. And I'm not, that's not even my personality, which is the crazy, like I'm so chill, I'm so calm, but I'm still thinking like, but I'm so cautious of how I present that I don't come off that way, or how I'm talking, how I'm speaking, what I'm saying. Like, it's so much that I'm thinking about. And I'm hoping that as I get more confident as a therapist, that those things don't come up into my mind as much, but it's like so much work that goes into it because all of that stuff is on my mind. So that's part of it, is being black. So I feel like that does come up less with my full-time job because most of my clients are black, like I do feel, and they're kids. So like, I don't feel like I have to be put on as much. I try to actually be more of myself to help them feel more comfortable talking to me not being that old. Hopefully feeling like they can connect to me and they can, like, they'll show me songs or like stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know, like, who you like? I like him too. So like stuff like that, I do feel more comfortable with them. So that's that one piece. The other piece is my personality. So, because I have another colleague, she kind of has a similar experience where she doesn't like for people to know, like, what she does outside of work. Because, okay, also as therapists, like, people feel like you're supposed to have your life all together because you're telling other people. And I'm like, yo, nah, that's far from it. So I do have some coworkers, even going through school, like, people would be so judgmental of me, like, going out and having fun and stuff like that. Or it would be like a whole, like, fascination. People were like, oh, what did you do this weekend? Like, why are you so like fascinated with what I did over the weekend? Like, I could care less what you did over the weekend. But granted, you probably didn't do nothing. Well, I hope they don't see this. Anyways.
My bad, I don't want to cut you off, but I was talking to it must have been somebody that I was when I started interning, but he was talking about like he'll lie and he'll just be like, yeah, I got some beers with my friend, you know what I mean, and not even like
people.
really like saying like, you know, what he actually did.
I don't tell people.
Like I went to a Taylor Swift concert or something like, you know.
That's funny. Maybe I should start doing that. Just see how people react.
But my bad, you were saying something about something. I don't even. My bad, I don't want.
So okay, so there are some people who are just more
just
chill,
yeah.
more relaxed.
Okay.
So I feel like it seems like not more chill, more relaxed because I'm chill, but just like more homebodies, or they like, oh, I like to do crafts on the weekends, or I like to plant, or like their fun stuff is like self-care stuff, and like my fun stuff is not, you know, I want to go out, I want to be with my friends, I want to do like fun stuff. So I just feel like it feels like it doesn't go with what a therapist is supposed to be. So that's why.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because you want to like what you're saying, like the way like going out and just partying and, you know, getting like just messed up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But now I'm saying like, not you, but you expected somebody that's a therapist to just have a relaxed life, like, you know, everything is just in order and
exactly.
perfect,
I wake up and do yoga in the morning, and I make a smoothie,
and I have a conversation with my husband over coffee, and we.
Not my life, like at all. Like what you talked about with the structure is no structure for me. Like work. So maybe that's part of it. Work does keep me. And that was why my first job, that was a big reason why that didn't work for me, was because I created my own schedule. Now that sounds awesome, but when you're not like a structured person, it's not good for you. So
I remember because you like doing all of those reports and stuff like that, like after.
I felt like I was working 24/7.
Yeah.
So having a full-time, having like a salary 9-to-5 job has been helpful for me, I think, in kind of making me have that structure. So I forgot where I was going with that, but.
Would there have been a way for you to have teamed up with somebody within that like job, and like one of you write the reports, then the other person go out into the field? Okay.
Nah, I wish. Nah, it don't work like that. Nah,
but,
you gotta do your own notes.
Yeah. So I do want, like, it's more that I want to talk about, but I do want to also talk, like, it's more that I want to talk about as far as like professional stuff, but I do want to talk about traveling and your newfound interest in solo trips, solo vacations. Like, how did that like what even made you, like, what gave you that spark to even want to do it, and how, like, why, like, how do you feel like, what made you, how do you get yourself to, you know, be comfortable enough to do it, and, you know, especially being a woman, and, you know.
What made me want to do it? I just, honestly, I don't like planning trips. I hate planning trips. So the thought of planning a trip for me and other people, like, just turned me off completely. So I was like, you know what? And it was my birthday. I'm like, you know what? I just want to do something for myself. I want to do something nice for myself. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do, like not have to worry about pleasing nobody else.
That's the beauty of it, traveling alone. Like, you can just, you're solely, like, it's on you. And it can be spontaneous, because it's just like, I want to go to St. Lucia tomorrow. I can go because I don't have anybody else that, like, I can take off. So it's like, that's all that, and I have the money to pay for it. So let me go. But my bad, so I was originally supposed to go to Morocco. And I really didn't do much research. Like, I watched a couple YouTube videos about Morocco. How did I choose Morocco? So let me back up a little bit. I was looking at places that are safe for black women to travel alone. And there was a few places, like, I think like Thailand was on there and some other places, but there was this one website that I found, and it was like kind of broke it down by what type of traveler you are. So one was like, if it's your first solo trip, or if you're this type of person, or that type of person. So for Morocco, it said for like a spiritual experience or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like that would be cool, like, for my birthday, like something different. Also, because like also with Morocco, you know, friends wouldn't go to like islands and do like lit stuff and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do something a little bit different, something that I wouldn't probably get to do with my friends. So that was a big reason why I picked Morocco.
Now, this was also right before my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
The night before, went out, ended up sleeping too late, didn't never pack, had to pack before going to the airport. I didn't actually miss the flight, but I missed being able to put my bag on the flight because, for international flights, you got to put it on like an hour before or something. So, and it's crazy though, because on the way to the airport, I was feeling like so anxious. Like I was like, oh my God, like I'm really about to do this. Like, oh my God. And so actually I feel like it was meant to be that I didn't go because I was like, this would be a lot, for my first trip. Like going to Africa, like by myself, like language barriers, the money, like all of that stuff, like, and I didn't have nothing really planned. Like I had a place to stay, but I didn't have an itinerary or nothing like that. So, anyways, I ended up calling. I was fine with Delta. Ended up calling them. I was like, okay, where? I was still trying to go to Morocco, but when you miss a flight, you have to like pay the difference for the new flight. The flight I paid like $600. The flight went up to like $1,500. I said, so where can y'all send me where I don't gotta spend that much money? And so I said Cancun. They said Cancun. So I was like, I really don't want to go to Cancun. So then my dad was like, oh, why don't you go to Tulum? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that you get to Tulum from the Cancun airport. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do that. And it ended up being a really good time. Like I was kind of staying in a place where, so I stayed in downtown Tulum, which is like more the city, more, it's kind of touristy, but it's less touristy. It's like the part where, I don't know if you see like all the popular stuff in Tulum where people be putting on TikTok and stuff like that. Like it wasn't that area. I wasn't in that area. I was like downtown in the city. And I was in an Airbnb, so it kind of was like kind of scary, like at night walking in by myself. And like, people kept asking me like, oh, are you by yourself? Are you by yourself? Are you by yourself? Like not really there, like, but like when I would do like different stuff, because people, it's obvious like I'm not here with nobody.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, like it's obvious. So people were like, wow, like you came all the way here by yourself. But I never really felt like I was alone. So like the first night, my friend stayed with me because she ended up missing her flight back home. So she ended up, because she was in Cancun like on a girls trip that same week, so she stayed with me. So that was nice to kind of like ease me in. I had somebody with me. And then the next time, like, because it is a very touristy area, so I was just meeting people. Like people just come up and talk to you. Everybody was so friendly. People on vacation, they just there to have fun. So I met like so many people, so I didn't really feel like alone, and I felt like I made like different types of connections than I would have made if I was with a group of people. So, and
I really enjoy that just doing stuff solo, because like you do just end up meeting people, like even just like simple as going to the bar by yourself or going out to a restaurant by yourself. You might even talk to the the bartender more, because
more likely,
you know what I mean, you by yourself, so you're just more likely to socialize, and people are just more open. And I feel like it's been times where I've met like groups of people, you know what I mean, because you just like by yourself, they're like, hey, look, like,
come on.
And people like, they might even like buy you shots and stuff like that, just because you by yourself. So I
met a whole bachelorette party. They were like, come on, like come to our party.
Exactly.
Like,
that is lit.
So it was fun.
It's definitely got its benefits.
It was fun. So like I said, I did feel like kind of iffy just at night walking in, but like other than that, I felt fine. Like I didn't feel unsafe. People were friendly, like, and like I said, it's a touristy place, so people were expecting, you to be a tourist, or you did kind of need help, or so it wasn't too bad. Yeah. But you've been doing well. Like I know that you did a few of the like the party trips. But the one that you was just looking into, the one that's in Greece, like that's not necessarily like that's not people like Baltimore people. No,
that's
no. That's like Universal. Well, I mean not Universal, but it's people from like all over that just go like. So they do like a lot of trips. Like they've done like Cancun, Jamaica, Costa Rica. Like they go everywhere. So I was like, you know what? And the thing is, Greece is expensive. So I feel like a lot of my friends may not be able to go. So I'm like, this would be a good trip to go on by myself, because it'll be a bunch of other people that are there. So just go ahead and do it. Yeah.
I got this, and I want to get out of this thought, but because like maybe it's because I've only gone to, I guess, Caribbean more so, like Caribbean islands. Well, we went to Mexico too, but I feel like when I'm thinking of traveling, of course it's nice to travel, but I guess maybe it's just where I'm at right now. But I keep thinking like a lot of it is similar. You know what I mean? Like you, of course, like your experience is gonna be different. Like you're gonna, you're going to a completely different culture. You're meeting a bunch of like different people, or like you're experiencing different foods and stuff like that. But I just keep having this thought that like, is it that much of a difference when I'm traveling? And I want to get out of that thought. And it might just be a one of those like psych things where it's like, I know right now, because right now I want to just work right now, and I want to, develop my skill set, and I don't want to, travel. Like, I guess I have it in mind, like, all right, I have this set right now, these goals right now, and I'll travel later on. And maybe right now I'm just like tricking myself to not, you know what I mean, to do. You saying do it?
Yeah, I feel like life is short.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do it when you can, and do it. I mean, granted, as you get older, your body don't deteriorate that much. Like, you could be 50 and still. I feel like I already said that on your last one. You can still like, have fun and be active and stuff like that. But
he said,
who says? I mean, not to be like negative, but like, who says you want to live that long?
You heard
who
me.
says? He said the drag.
Yeah, he said 50 and drag.
Oh yeah. Okay. So not the same thing. But yeah, I mean, who says? Or the world might end, or you never know what might happen. So I'm like, what? I'm gonna just do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, do it. Especially, I think that's why I was so pressed to travel this year, because last year, we couldn't do anything. So I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta get out of here.
I gotta. Yeah. I gotta do it.
But like you said, with the islands, they are all pretty similar cultures. Even, I mean, it's not the same culture, but it's that touristy, like, so that's why, Morocco, or like someplace that's not as like a tourist a tourist destination, you might have a different type of experience.
And you know what, that's something that I want to do too. Like, I want to go to one of those like retreats, like those calming, like you can go to like the spa massages, you know what I mean, just relax, meditate. You can just chill, you know what I mean, like really just like step away from everything and shut stuff off. That's the trip that I want to take. Yeah.
So Morocco might be a good place.
Yeah.
Or somewhere, but yeah. So I think that would be a different experience, and you would probably feel a lot differently about it. Cause my vacations are never. That was my plan for my birthday trip in Tulum. I was like, oh no, I'm here. I might as well live it up. But I be needing a vacation from the vacation, because it's a lot. Like, it's not really relaxing. It's more fun.
A lot of people have been talking about taking off like a day after your vacation. Like, so when your vacation over, take that.
That's what I did.
Like, don't go straight back to work. Like, take some time. Yeah.
Me too. I had to do that my last trip. I was like, you know what? This is not gonna work. I need a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did want to go a little bit back to like experiences in Baltimore, or just like personal experiences, I guess. And I don't know, like, is it different for black women in Baltimore versus black men in Baltimore as far as influences and like what you want to do? Like, did you ever feel the need to be, I guess, cool, or like to be, like, was there ever any social, I guess, like social barriers that might have caused you to not be on the path that you're on now, because like that wasn't necessary, like what you're doing now it was geeky, or it wasn't cool? So like, did you ever have any of those, issues coming up in Baltimore that might have restricted you from being, your full potential, meeting your full potential?
Now, this feels very like childish and immature for me to say, but I feel like I feel it more now than I did when I was younger.
Right.
So when I was younger, like, I don't think I think it, so maybe it is different for girls, because I never really felt pressure to be like, oh, like, me being smart is not cool, or me, getting good grades is not cool. And I think a lot of people always wanted my help, or like were like, dang, like, how you do that, or like stuff like that. Like, people saw it as like a good thing. Like, I never felt like people thought I was like a nerd, because I was still cool too. Like, I got along with everybody, so maybe that made a difference too. But yeah, I never really felt that pressure. But saying now, as an older person, I do feel like, as a girl, all the girls got like bags, or everybody get their lashes done, or everybody
City
always
girls,
like
city
keeping their
girls summer.
city girls. Yeah, like everybody wants to be like that. So I feel like now sometimes it does feel more pressure to like, you know, if you want to be in that scene, you gotta look a certain way.
Look like it, and then also it's like time. So it's like
and
because
I don't
you
have
work.
time
Yeah,
to
right.
be
You don't.
like that. I don't.
Exactly.
I can't. So I can't really be that. I can't be like
You gotta be
a
on
socialite or stuff like that because I'm at work like 9 times out of 10. So so it's hard to like. I would like to be out more. I would like to be more social. I would like to have more fun. But then at the same time, I work a lot.
That's crazy. That's crazy that that's a switch. Because for me, it was that way in high school, right? But now it's like, I don't even, like, I'm not even, you know what I mean? It's like, it's cool, you know, to do, you know, what I'm doing, I guess.
I think it's too who I surrounded myself with. So in high school, all my friends were the same way, like nerds, getting good grades, stuff like that. Like I was cool with the other people, but they weren't like my friends. Yeah. So now I feel like I more so hang out with like the cool kids now that I'm older, and it's like, you know, it's more the pressure that comes from that of wanting to be out and stuff like that. And I mean, I still have my other friends, but I just don't hang out. Like they don't go out as much, or they are doing their own thing or live in different places. So my friends that go out, that's who I'm go out with. So I guess that's where kind of the switch came in, was, you know, just the people that I surrounded myself with. So that was from bartending and the people that I met. If I never would have started bartending, I probably wouldn't be out. That's interesting. I wouldn't be out as much.
What would you be doing? You be married?
Well, maybe, because I feel like that really like changed my life so much. That was when I really got interested in meeting new people, because I met so many people from bartending. I'm like, wow, like it's just more out there than what I know. Like it just exposed me to different things. So yeah, maybe I probably would like be in a relationship or something, or just dry like be boring. I don't know. Yeah.
You had talked about you didn't. I mentioned city girls. How do you feel like they're impacting the culture? And do you have? You probably don't, but like, do you have any women that you like give? You know, not that you're what's it, counseling, or that you see like any people that have that mentality, like he need to buy me a bag? And
I don't actually.
Yeah.
So I don't like the city girls. I hate the city girls. No, I don't like their music. I don't like what they stand for. I don't like none of it, because at the end of the day, I feel like they don't live like that. I mean, like they have men that treat them well, but they got their own money. Like they came up, you know, on their own. Like they didn't depend on a man to do what they're doing. So I feel like they're like, I mean, I don't listen to all their songs, so I don't know what they represent
crazy
exactly.
That you say that, because like it's like almost the same for the rappers, you know what I mean? Because they're successful, but they'll still talk about, you know, I mean,
but they're not doing that anymore,
some
for
of
the
them,
most part.
Some of them do like the drugs and all of that.
Yeah,
but like they'll rap about, you know, the drugs. They rap about like, you know, just doing certain stuff, and they not selling drugs and like killing people and all of this other stuff that they talking about.
So
but why does that sell?
Yeah,
why does the city girls sell?
Because I guess a lot of girls can't do it for themselves. So if you can't do it for yourself, you're gonna want a man to do it. How else you gonna get it? A man is gonna need to do it for you. I don't know.
But is it like, what's it called though? Is it liberating? You know what I mean? Because they're also. It was
big.
A big bug.
Yeah. I'm glad that wrote that. I'll be sleep fast. Okay.
But it's like, you know, taking back power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like now they're taking ownership of this thing. They're taking ownership of this is like, I'm finessing. I'm not being finessed.
True, yeah.
I'm
that's
not,
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, let me not, I'm happy that you said that, because let me not take away everything from
that
them.
they do.
I think that is a positive of like, okay, yeah, like we can do it too. Like, you know, as far as like I think it can be empowering in some ways. I just I don't know.
Because it's taken away from, you know, black professional women, I guess. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's almost making younger women want to strive for this thing rather than strive to be, more than that. You know what I mean? It's like rely on.
Yeah.
It's that's like such a not a contradiction. I guess it's a contradiction, but like because it is liberating at the same time, but then it's also still saying like, you know, rely, like sometimes it could be, you know, rely on men to like pay for these things, and you know what I mean. And,
but I don't know, maybe they say do like have it, but at the same time they scam to get on.
For real? Oh,
yeah, I think that's how they were getting money. They were scamming. So at the same time, it's like, or even a lot of rappers like selling drugs to get on. So it's like either way, it's like it's not positive, and it really doesn't promote anything good. Like it's basically like you said, what you thought of when you were younger, feeling like, oh, I gotta do these things to get money, or I gotta do these things to be cool, and it's like it's kind of messed up. And why does it sell? I don't know. And I feel I got a lot, like my young boys, a lot of them are like that. But a lot of them have family members
they like what?
Want to be in the streets, want to sell drugs, or like look up to people like that.
And so that's crazy, because I was in the last one with Aaron, I was asking him, like, is it the same? You know what I mean? Like, are they still experiencing those same pressures? Because I feel like since they have more access to the internet and you know, different like lifestyles and stuff like that, maybe they don't have that same stress, but they do.
I think it depends. Crazy. I think it depends, because a lot of these little kids now, not to say
they're
like
different.
Not to say that the ones that want to be in the streets aren't weird, because that's not cool either. But some of them don't want to be outside at all. Some of them want to just play video games.
And then some of them that are still in the streets, they watch anime. You know what I mean? So it might like they a little different than a little different than coming up.
I don't know, but
damn, it was something else that I wanted to say after that. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't remember.
But I do feel like overall, I mean, I think it does depend on your circle, who you surround yourself with. Because at the end of the day, like, social media is the big thing, but at the same time, like, you have your own influences within your life. You have your own role models and stuff like that. So you're gonna make your own decisions. But
my bad, go ahead. I'm gonna keep it in the back of my head.
Just saying, if that's your only way, if you didn't have the opportunity to go to school, or you didn't, you know, have an opportunity to have a professional job or make good money on your own, that stuff is gonna be, it is gonna attract you. It is gonna be something that you're interested in, because it's like, oh, this is how I can get on, or you know, this is what I can do.
I was gonna say, although there are a lot of black male professionals, maybe it's also the, you know, stereotype or like stigmas, I guess, the visual, like the perception of the black man. So I might be on Instagram, right, and I'll see a black guy, and he might have on a big chain and a black tee, you know, all black, and he might have on some Balenciagas, and he might be posing with a bottle or something like that. My first thought is, you know, he's either like rapper, drug dealer, but the whole time he could be a lawyer.
That's true.
But we don't know.
That's true.
Because because we like portray ourselves in this way.
So we're not. So do you feel like we kind of limit ourselves in? So the same thing would go for a woman. Like if I was to go on Instagram and post something, I don't know, like a bathing suit or something like that. It's like, oh.
Right, she's just an Instagram model.
Right, but like not, oh, like, oh, this is a professional.
Has a whole lot
but like, I would fit. So okay. Do you know any professionals that carry them? Like, do we have that freedom to be able to carry ourselves like that as a professional? Can you be a professional and be on Instagram looking like what you just described? Do you feel like we have that freedom to do that? Because I feel like we do have more limitations on ourselves.
I feel like I posted something. It was like, I think it was my birthday, and I was with Jerome, and I think it was Bobby and Chris was in there. But I was smoking a cigar. I had on all black. I had my middle finger up, and I just looked like a nigga. Yeah. Like, I don't mean that. But I was looking like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And first impression is like, this is, you know, some street nigga, you know what I mean? Rather than like thinking that this is a professional. So I'm thinking, I don't know do we have to put it out there more that we are doing these things to make it known, like I look this way, and like this is our culture, this is the way that we dress, but this does not mean that I'm this. I don't know if
Yeah.
I have my own biases, I guess, like, cause
yeah. So it's like,
I'm
okay,
thinking
let's
about it
say
that
if
way.
like it wasn't, let's say if it was a white man that, but I just feel like that don't even,
It don't happen.
no.
White guys, like, they have their own little image, I guess. Like, they might have their little frat pics with the tank top,
Yeah.
but they don't do like the.
But it's crazy because they do the same stuff. It
Yeah.
just looks different.
Yeah.
They do the same stuff. They do
party and.
Yeah, they do the same
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it looks worse.
For us, I guess. They gamble.
Yeah,
But if they like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but-
right. They play craps, right?
Right, yeah,
at the
yeah.
casino. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, we can't really escape stereotypes. Like, it's so ingrained. It's been going on for so long. So, like, we even, like you said, we even have our own stereotypes against ourselves, and it's like not even thinking about it because it's so like deeply ingrained. It's like you really can't get around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my friends that are now in, you know, professional roles, they dress the same as the drug dealers. So there's
And
no.
I guess that's also just our swag.
Yeah.
Like that's like you said, that's the culture. That's how we dress.
This is. I feel like this is something deep that I want to dive into
I
more.
feel like
but
I need to like think about it some more
bro.
first and process it some more. I don't want to really speak on it
Yeah,
until I really
yeah.
put some more thought into
Me
it.
too. I want to think about it.
Yeah.
Y'all should think about this too.
But,
Broke
yeah.
the third wall. You I don't. You don't be watching. Like, do you watch Netflix and all of that stuff often? Like, cause I know like you working, but then you go out. But like, do you be having time to?
Sometimes.
You be watching? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't watch Netflix, like streaming services, but I'll be watching YouTube like all the time.
Like on my lunch breaks, I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Or that's when I will watch stuff. Or like at night, right before I go to sleep, I might watch something. But not like just sit around. I'm rarely sitting around not doing nothing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But structure. I don't even, how long we been recording?
I don't know. It don't say.
Nah. I don't know how to like read that.
Oh,
But I feel like it's probably been like a little over an hour probably.
You think so?
Probably.
I have no idea.
I don't even know. What was I about to say? I think I was about to talk about like structure. I guess we can stop soon. But structure in, like we were talking about how you were saying that you felt like work gave you more structure. Work gave you more structure. But now you I don't know what was I about to say. I don't remember. We can wrap it up. Right, cut. I do. This is. I don't feel like. I don't know. Like, I know this is not really your vibe, but I try to like close it with something that people like. I guess advice or like some sort of
to the young people.
to young
out there.
people. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, giving
like,
advice is not my style. Yeah.
Not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like not a
Yeah.
too personal. I don't know if it's
Okay. Let's see. This might sound corny, but like, believe in yourself. And I want to elaborate on that. So, the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we think about ourselves and our abilities really affects how much we're able to do and what our actions say. So, really being able to tell yourself positive things, really feeding yourself with positive things, positive thoughts, to help to keep push you forward and to propel you forward. Because when we think negatively about ourselves, when we think, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, that's what happens. You don't do it. You don't you know, you don't achieve
For real,
whatever
though.
you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself, believe in your goals, surround yourself with people that are positive, and
Yeah.
also see, you know, positives in you, and see,
Affirmation.
believe in you and see what you can do. Yeah,
Yeah.
like do affirmations every day. Like, yeah, just try to be
It's
positive.
crazy. Like, that's a good point, because even when it comes down to when you're struggling with something, so you might want to start up a business, you might want to study a challenging like degree or course or whatever. You will come across challenges, and I've noticed for me, like, I'll have bad thoughts. So it's like, even in those instances, sometimes you have to be able to like tell, okay, these are negative thoughts, this is negative thinking, I can complete this, I can do well with this, and like push yourself forward to continue to keep doing it and believing in what you're doing. And like, it's just noticing like those small thoughts, and then also believing in yourself. I think it has a big deal is who you surround yourself with, and I think you had just said that. But when you surround yourself with people that also believe in you, because one, it's great to have, you know, the support system, but then two, you become, well, I believe that like you become the people that you spend a lot of time with. So a lot of times, you know, the thoughts of your friends, they'll like sort of trickle in, or they'll like sort of infiltrate your thinking without you noticing it or without you knowing. So being able to surround yourself with people that have not similar interests, but like similar career, like paths or similar trajectories, I guess. And
yeah, that's something I need to work on, is building my professional network. I've been
Yeah, me
saying
too.
that for so long, but I be like, I don't want to hang around with those boring people.
it's tough, and that's culture too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, but thank you,
you're welcome.
Diamond Greene. Yeah. You not starting up, when you planning on starting up your private practice soon? I guess they can like
Nah, not no time
okay.
soon.
Well, they'll
Yeah,
eventually.
split me up.
Yeah, right. Find she'll give you some therapy.
Yeah.
But cool. Thank you.